And now, boys and girls, welcome into show 110 here with the Pucknologists on Tealtown, USA, as always. But for some reason, you couldn't hear that. I'm your host, AJ Strong, and with me is Rocket Backhander. Hello, hello.
Hello.
And Hockey Jerk, of course. You love to see it. What's going on, kids? How you doing? I like as soon as we start, some schmuck comes in with the thumbs down. We haven't even said anything yet. God, I love my haters. Love the haters.
Oh, jeez.
Welcome into show 110, everybody. How you doing? You having a good time? Are you feeling the free agent frenzy just yet? We'll see. Don't forget to follow us on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. You know all the places. And if you ever miss an episode, catch them on your favorite podcatcher. Catch it on YouTube. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button. And as always, everything can be found on tealtownusa.com. So, let's get into it, kids. Now, this is a live show. So, obviously, if you would like to send us a super chat donation, that is awesome. But we prefer Venmo just because we get all the money instead of having to give Google like 80%. So Venmo, Tealtown, USA. So we have a Stanley Cup Final to react to, even though everybody else has already done so. Hey, we're here to do it as well. Rocket, Tampa wins it in 6 games. I mean, I'm sure you feel good for Goody and disappointed for Pavs, but was it a solid final? What did you think?
Yeah, man, I thought that was a great series. I felt that they were both evenly matched in terms of production from, like the guys who you got production from your top 6, obviously, but you also got production from periphery guys. And Tampa without Stamkos, I think that was impressive.
Absolutely agree. Hockey Jerk.
Yeah, I'm with Rocket. I'm kind of disappointed he didn't play the sounder there for periphery. I know words.
I know words. I have the best words.
There it is. No, I'm with Rocket. I think aside from a few points in this series where I was kind of thinking like, can we just get the game over with? Like, I thought it was a pretty good series. Obviously, games 2 and 4, 1-goal games. I thought those were very fun. Game 5 as well went to double overtime. I just think it was, even though you started to see the players on Dallas kind of start to fade away a little bit, they did their damnedest to stick around. And Pavs and Corey Perry, the old guard there, dragging everybody along with them. So I thought it was a fun series to watch. I definitely think it was more exciting than some of the earlier round series we saw, which I guess is to be expected, but it's good for the NHL's perspective that they were able to have an exciting conclusion to the season, which went many months too long.
Oh, see, I liked it. I got to be honest, man. I started to miss that time, that week where it was like literally playoff hockey was starting at like 9 a.m. Pacific and going all the way until 10 at night, man. That was
great.
Good times, man. Good times.
Yeah, that was great.
The fact that they brought in Pavelski and Perry and that they were responsible for 6 straight goals in games 4 and 5. I mean, holy hell. Corey Perry and Joe Pavelski scored the last 6 goals for Dallas in this playoff series.
And people say that after 30, your careers takes a nosedive. They would have had to say something about that.
Right?
Are those people who have had careers after 30 saying these things?
I don't know. We'll have to look up. Somebody get out Google. But the thing you really have to be that you kind of hang your hat on is the fact that Tampa was able to put up a decent amount of special teams goals. I think they were, 7 or 8 for 20. Meanwhile, Dallas was 1 for 19. It was not good. And in fact, I think we have, we've got some audio of Joe Pavelski talking about the special teams for Dallas.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, what can you do? But congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning winning their 2nd cup in franchise history. Of course, stick taps to Barclay Goody. Oh, my Lord. Going from, you think about the 18 months that this guy's had. Scores arguably the biggest goal in Sharks franchise history. Now, of course, you can point to Jamie Baker in 94. You can point to Donskoy in 2016. The Goodrow goal for me is top two. You know, you can interchange them between Jamie Baker, but pretty huge. Then plays on a team the following season that are a hot mess, in a dumpster fire, in a train wreck, not good, and then ends up getting traded and boom, wins the Stanley Cup. Now, if you remember, I think we predicted when it got down to the Final Four that Tampa would win this only because it would give Doug Wilson the worst possible pick that he could get in the first round for Barclay Goodrow.
Great.
Makes sense. Yes. That's because Shark's going to Shark, and there is no end to the Murphy's Law season that has plagued the San Jose Sharks. I'm just saying. It's going to happen. So let's see. That's what happened there. Let's move on to some Sharks news and notes here. The Sharks have finally officially removed the interim tag from Bob Boughner. This was reported, by the way, on July 16th. But they made it official about a week ago, but they did introduce the whole coaching staff there. So as you can see from the graphic here, Roy Sommer goes back down to be the head coach of the Barracuda, which I think everybody and their mother predicted was going to happen. The thing that I'm a little shocked that Ricci did not return to the Barracuda, instead staying with the Sharks as a development coach. But we do have, and then Nabby staying as goaltending coach. I think that's something that Jerk and I said was going to happen like 5, 6, 7 years ago. No, months. Okay. But then adding John Madden and Rocky Thompson seemed to be, Jerk, it seems like a lot of people are saying that these are great gets for the Sharks. Like some people saying Rocky Thompson could be a bench boss within 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say, I think the big thing here, which not a lot of people tend to consider, but I think you have to look at the fact that, Bob Boughner now has a coaching staff which is comprised of his guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Versus being here, take this and run.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not to say that he absolutely hated working with Roy Sommer and Nabby and Mike Ricci, but, it's a lot easier to get your message across when you know on a personal, deep level the guys who you're tasking with getting that across. I think, as you alluded to, obviously Rocky Thompson, a lot of people seem to think that he's got potential to be a head coach in a few years. He's going to work with the power play, which is, supposed to be, according to what everybody says, it's going to be better because of just everything that Rocky Thompson brings to the table. What I think is going to be really interesting to see is specifically with John Madden coming in as an assistant as well, because there's been a lot of conversation about, playing on the defensive side of the puck, specifically for the forwards. A lot of forwards were to borrow a phrase.
We're allowed to play defense now?
Right. Well, and to borrow a phrase from from TSN Overdrive, they could have wore their suit under their equipment because they weren't sweating. And I think now with John Madden, you have a guy who's won a Stanley Cup, which I know people say that's BS, but the way I look at it is, the grind to what it takes to get that far. You also have a guy who's won a Selke trophy, which for those who don't know is the trophy awarded to the best defensive forward. If you're trying to get your forwards to commit to defense, why not have a guy who won a trophy for exactly that teaching the message?
Hey, now.
To me, it makes a lot of sense. And then obviously, as we've talked about before, Nabby sticking on as the goaltending coach, he really did wonders for Aaron Dell. He started to do wonders for Martin Jones as well. And obviously, if Alexei Melnichuk comes up to the NHL in 2 years, like I seem to think he will, there obviously will be a connection there as well. So I think having Nabby remain in that post, I think is pretty critical. I don't want to say it's the most important part of this transaction list, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, well, and we'll be talking about Nabby here in a hot second or so. But I would be remiss if I didn't point out that in order to celebrate winning the Stanley Cup, Tampa Bay held a super spreader event. So, the people in Tampa Bay, it was nice knowing you. For those of you who aren't here in a couple weeks. But anyway,
You know what I thought was really interesting, and this is kind of unrelated, but I thought it was very funny. Both times Tampa Bay has won the Stanley Cup, it's preceded a time where we don't know when the next NHL season is going to start.
I know that's so
Obviously,
odd, dude. Oh,
wow.
We obviously don't know. I was going to say we don't know when 2020-21 is going to start because of the coronavirus, obviously. But Tampa Bay won the Cup in 2004, and then obviously, as you said, AJ, there was a lockout which halted the NHL for 15 months. So.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying, maybe there's a reason it's been so long since Tampa won the Cup.
It could
And
be.
they shouldn't win again for a while.
Chester Chivo asking, how much of a leash does Bugner get before Thompson takes over as head coach? That is something I asked myself when I heard that when they announced all of the coaching. Boogie, Boogie got a 3-year deal as far as I know. It would, I mean, if things go sideways next season,
No.
whenever that may start.
No.
I'm just saying. We'll see what happens if things go sideways. And I think we could probably ask the question. To the people watching right now live in the chat. Let me ask you this question: what happens first, the start of the next season or the expiration of Erik Karlsson's contract? Or I should say the next time we see fans in the stands, or the expiration of Erik Karlsson's contract.
No, I thought you were going to say the start of the season or the expiration of Erik Karlsson's groin.
I mean,
That's
fair point.
I literally thought that's what you were going to say.
Fair point. So anyway, that remains to be seen.
You asked me about Bugner, and I said to you, I said, dude, don't be surprised if I have to carve you on the podcast, and I'm not going to do that. But
whip it out.
I just don't think you don't give a guy a 3-year contract if you're expecting to fire him before the 3 years are up. You just don't do that.
Oh, I know.
And
but how much time did DeBoer have left in his deal? How much time did T-Mac have left?
Well, I could be wrong. I think Todd McClellan's deal expired, but I
think you could be right on that one. Because wasn't that T-Mac wasn't that like a conscious uncoupling?
I believe the word they used was mutual parting of the ways.
So conscious uncoupling, same thing.
I was going to say, to me, that's the Sharks saying, leave and don't come back.
Pretty much.
But with DeBoer, he, the year, this year, or I guess this past year, however you want to explain it, was the first year of an extension for him. So to your point, AJ, the leash was short for him, but I still think with Bugner, he's got a full year. He'll have a full training camp. He's got his own staff. He's got a new contract. I mean, I'm not saying that there's no chance he's fired before the 3 years is up. I just don't think that conversation's even going to start until the middle of year 2.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that absolutely, because I mean, at the very least, you can say Doug Wilson is putting Boogie in the position to succeed. He's surrounded him with good talent and assistance there. Now, the telling thing is that if I remember correctly, and I'll go back to the graphic for a hot second. Excuse me. But associate coach was the title given to Rocky, not assistant or whatever, but associate coach. I'm not saying that means anything one way or the other. I'm just putting it out there, okay? So you do what, and I like how Leica Toiga says EK65 is going to show me up. I'm begging for this to happen. I am absolutely begging for this.
You got a chat you need to look at, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm in there. I'm in there. So, Christopher Hogue, thank you so much. Dude. Now, you realize I got to give like $30 of that to Google, like Venmo that. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much. That is so cool.
We might need to leave the comment up for the rest of the show.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me throw it back up there. But thanks to everyone at Teal Town USA for bringing us all some much-needed sense of community this season. Christopher, thank you. That is absolutely amazing. And I think Christopher
I may need to send you one.
I was gonna say, Christopher Christopher, we might have a Teal Town shirt. Dude, not even lying. At AJ_strong on Twitter. Send me a note on Twitter. I think we can probably find you a Teal Town shirt for that. And as for the rest of you watching, the gauntlet has been thrown down. So let's move on here. The Sharks have tweeted photos of upgrades coming to SAP Center, including improvements to the ice surface. They've replaced the escalator at the south entrance with a water slide. No, I'm sorry. That was just me. that was just my hopes. We've replaced some flooring there. Now, these are not sexy upgrades, but they're going to mean a lot. We're going to see, hopefully, a much more consistent and better ice sheet, especially when it matters in April and May and June. Yeah. So we're going to see better ice. These are not sexy upgrades, but the thing that was a red flag for me, or I shouldn't say a red flag, but the thing that set it off for me is this, to me, if Hasso-Plattner isn't committed to San Jose, he's not spending thousands of dollars to upgrade SAP Center. As far as I know, the city of San Jose is not paying a single dime on this. This is Hasso. This is Uncle Hasso saying, I want this team to have the best that it can have in this building. Now, granted, she's 30 years old. We get that. But this is a commitment from Plattner that this team will remain in San Jose for a bit of time. So
well, and this kind of goes back to the back and forth that's been had for years, and we've talked about it on this show since we started doing this whole, charade 5 years ago. But
charade.
Wow.
But you have a lot of people who say, oh, I wish Hasso-Plattner was more involved in the day-to-day operations. And it's like, okay, first of all, why? Because
I don't want to say involved in the day-to-day operations. The only thing I would say about Hasso is that I would like him to speak with the media like at least once a year.
Yeah, see, and I think that's a fair expectation. But you have the people who say, oh, well, I want Hasso to be on the phone with Doug Wilson every day. And it's
I think he is.
I've had jobs with bosses who are on your tip the whole time. It's not fun. And I think Hasso stays away the perfect amount of time. But as you said, AJ, you also get a lot of people say absentee owner. He doesn't care about the team. Chief, as you said, Chief is throwing down money to renovate the tank. But also what we need to consider, and haters will say that the Sharks are spending to the salary cap anyway, and they're partially true. But in a time where teams are cutting costs and the cap is flat for at least 2 years, Hasso has said, no, we're going to keep spending anyway. Like, this is a guy who values winning over profit. And if you ask me, there's not enough people like that involved in sports. And
particularly in the city of Ottawa, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, and you have teams like Pittsburgh, teams like Buffalo, teams like Arizona are starting to do that, where they're saying, our non-sports businesses got hit. We need to adjust accordingly. And we talked about it a few weeks ago, actually, where, the three of us were saying, if you're in the business of sports, like, you should be spending to the cap because you want your investment to be a winner. The example we made was Anaheim when they were having an internal cap all those years ago. It's like, if you're not going to kick down the cash, why do you own a sports team? And I think it's not said enough how important Hasso is to the team. And I think, as you say, AJ, these are not sexy upgrades, but they go a long way.
Oh, absolutely. Rocket, would you like to say thank you to Christopher, Rocket?
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. I got to find this. Thank you. An extra special thank you to Christopher Hogue from all of us at Teal Town, USA.
Okay, so that was fun.
Right.
Let's move on.
I do what I can.
Let's move on. So Doug Wilson did a Zoom call earlier this week with the media. saying that all of the quote-unquote injured Sharks are now 100% of course. That includes Erik Karlsson, who told Doug that he is not limited in any way except intellectually. No, I'm kidding. But Wilson said this might be the first time Erik has been 100% healthy with us. Also, Hertl and Couture are good to go. Rock, if Karlsson comes in at 100% and has another subpar season with the Sharks, then what?
Then we suffer it. There's nothing honest. I don't know how you fix it other than you have to strip the team down and rebuild around Erik Karlsson because his contract makes him immovable. And at that point, you either just have him dragging sand across the ice for the next, 10 years, whatever long his contract is, or you get him shipped off somewhere else. I don't think either one of those are feasible options. So I think, you go for the nuclear option, which is burn it down to the bolts and rebuild around Erik Karlsson.
Jerk, any thoughts?
I don't hate to agree with Rocket, but I hate to agree with that point. Like it's the absolute right point, but I still hate it. I hate the idea.
I hate it too, man.
Yeah, I hate the idea of, having to take 3 steps back, to build around Erik Karlsson, but that is the right answer. But, so Rocket's obviously right on that one, but I think, I don't know. I mean, I was talking with a couple people about this before, just general chit chat, and we all were kind of saying, okay, Erik Karlsson says he's 100%, so the onus is on him to show that,
from day one. None of this
exactly.
play yourself into shape BS.
Exactly. Letters on the jersey don't matter. But homie's got an A on his jersey. Some people look at that as him being a leader or he is a leader of the team, but being the face of the team, somebody that they think of when they think of the team. And you need to be the guy, as you said, AJ, from day one. And, I'm looking, if he doesn't have at least 15 points in the first 20 games, it's going to be another loosen the tie and wipe the brow kind of year, because it's, it's tough. It's tough. I'm still optimistic. I still think he's a hell of a player, but he needs to come in and tear it up.
Loosen the tie. Wipe. A lot of that is going to be going on. Russo and many others, of course, on Twitter reporting the Sharks are interested in center Ryan Donato and goalie Devin Dubnyk from the Wild.
I think interested is downplaying it.
Well, yes. You're right. Dizzy Logic, what are the Sharks giving up for Dubnyk and Donato? Doug Wilson already insinuated.
I know words. I have the best words.
No high picks from this, and next draft in the package. So, Jerk, what? This is all well and good. We've kind of thrown it back and forth. Devin, geez. I think about this. Dubnyk, fine. I still think it's a buyer's market, but if you want to get in on the guy that you want, we talked with Shang Pang earlier. He said that, Wilson is Nabby is kind of driving the bus on this. Nabby thinks that Dubnyk is the guy to have. If this is a marriage that we have to take Donato and Dubnyk, okay, fine. And now, Jerk, you can sit here and tell everybody why you think Donato and Dubnyk are things that the Sharks need, but what do the Sharks you have to give to get?
Well, anybody who has a subscription to The Athletic, even if you're not a Minnesota Wild fan, I recommend reading the stuff that Michael Russo writes. It's very, very good. Very good pretty much every time he writes something. And
pretty much everybody on The Athletic is good except down goes Brown. Fuck that guy. But everybody else.
I was going to say, that goes without saying. If you're publishing on The Athletic, you're a good writer. But Michael Russo especially stands out alone. And I think one of the things he was saying was that Minnesota is trying to acquire. They want to. I mean, they're already in the first round. They are picking 9th overall, but Minnesota wants to get another pick in the first round. And as AJ likes to say, that I like to say, a smart person would look at the Sharks owning 31st overall and saying, well, that's a pick in the first round. And before everybody gets out the pitchforks and the torches, it's 31st overall. The Sharks are picking 3 spots later at 34. You could flip a coin and you'll probably get the same guy at both spots.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know. I mean, I am a little trepidatious at giving up 31 for a goaltender who will be an unrestricted free agent next summer, who is coming off a bad season. But as we talked about earlier, I'm generally optimistic that he can bounce back. It's one kind of sus year outside of a handful of really good years. Some of those years where the Wild were just not a good team and Dubnyk kept them afloat. So I'm optimistic from that respect. But also, Ryan Donato is a guy that I am very interested in as a player. I tweeted it. I shared as much in the super secret, not so secret Discord server where it's like, Ryan Donato's a guy where you put him in the top 6 and he's going to get you 20 goals. And I think the Sharks have been looking for somebody young who can contribute forever. Why not take a chance to get a guy who can do that, even if it means you have to bring in Devan Dubnyk? And I don't know. I just think, let's just say, I'm not saying the Sharks will make the playoffs next year, but I think they'll be better. And
God, I'd hope.
Same.
They can only go up from here, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And I just think if the Sharks have a good season, I don't think anybody is really too upset about having ostensibly 2 number 1 goalies.
Well, okay. We'll see. I mean, Dubnyk and Jones may, in fact, just be kind of like the bridge to get to, Melnichuk?
Yeah, I mean, that could be that too. I mean, also, something else to consider, Devan Dubnyk's got a $4.33 million cap hit this year, which seems like a lot. But again, I find it hard to believe that you'll find a goalie in the unrestricted free agency market who's going to make less than that on a year-to-year basis.
But but back to the point. The question was, what did the Sharks give up? Now, you mentioned that for a first-round pick. Is there anything else? Daniil, you're tanking.
No, I think if you're giving up 31st overall in that trade, it's just 31st overall
for 2 guys.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. That's fine.
You heard it here first. Yeah, when the trade is finalized tomorrow at 10:37 a.m., you'll know.
Nice.
You'll see.
I'm
just saying, I if it was less than 31st overall, I would be surprised, but that doesn't mean I would be upset.
All right. Let's hit a couple more things in the chat here real quick. Christopher, our beneficiary tonight. You also have at least 25 more pounds on Ferraro on the blue line. The baby is growing up. Now, Rocket, you are a avid watcher of the what's his channel called again?
The youngest of plugs.
There you go. And what's his opening bit? He always says it so fast I can never understand what the hell he's saying. He's like, "What up, something?" Blah, 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 blah.
It's like, "What's up, all you dogs in the hood?" or something.
He says, "What's good?" or "What's up, all you donkeys in the hood?" or "What's good, all you donkeys in the hood?"
It's always so
donkeys,
fast.
like asses.
But
donkeys.
you've been paying attention to his channel over over the last 6-7 months. Is dude like shredded? Like, are we looking at like another Hunter from Edmonton?
Well, yes.
Dude's ripped
yoked.
now.
Yeah,
he's
yoked.
He's yoked. Well, he invested in a weighted vest, so he straps it to himself like a bulletproof vest, and then does all of his core exercises and stuff. So that basically like just makes him have to work harder at everything. So he's just getting super bulky.
So it's kind of like playing with Michael Haley.
I would imagine, yeah.
Okay then.
Chief has also got some of the wildest salad I've ever seen.
Oh, dude,
right?
It's exquisite.
I love it.
It's
I absolutely love it.
It's like if you had a mohawk and then got a perm on the mohawk, but then grew it out on the sides.
Oh, dude. I mean, just chef's
perm.
kiss.
An
Chef's
old
kiss.
lady perm, like a 5/8 of an inch rod perm.
And
Old school.
and
Dude, if
And,
you,
you know,
if-
to
yeah,
rock-
I will cut you if you come at me and tell me that the Sharks do not have the best hair in the NHL, whether it's
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
their
no doubt.
face
Yeah,
or on the
no.
top of their head, man.
and to Rocket's point, I mean, you look, even though obviously with COVID, salaries were cut and delayed and everything like that, but Chief did have a signing bonus this year, so you're getting that first paycheck. Why not buy a couple things?
I know.
Yeah.
Back to the chat for a hot second. Do we have the means to go after Line A in a trade or another top six forward, shipping out Brent Burns maybe, and an additional piece or picks? Now, everybody, the people that know me well know that I loves me some Brent Burns, but what I love a little bit more than that is seeing Brent Burns on another team right now. Because I want that $8 million. I want to be able to spend that money in other places. So if we can, I loves Brent Burns, hell of a nice guy, did great things for his decade here, but it is financially, I think, time to move on. You don't need two reckless, offensively inclined D-men on the same team. So, Jerk, now explain to everybody why Line A coming to San Jose is never going to happen.
Well, because the Sharks don't have 4 first-round picks to give up.
There you go.
I mean, Line A's barely 22, and he is already flirting with being a consistent 50-goal guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just,
Touching.
I mean, if it is gonna happen, and that's a very, very, very hard if, it's gonna be a situation where you may have to trade Burns for some assets, and then couple those assets with assets you already have for Line A. I mean,
it's a long road to hoe. I get you.
Exactly. And I mean, like, Patrick Line is a good player, and I'd love to have him on the Sharks, but it's a situation where, do you want to give up 2 A-plus assets and a B asset and a C asset for one guy? Even though that guy is A+++.
Right? No, I feel you. Like a toiga. AJ, why you got to beat up on a list of best lists of line combos beginning with the prime number? Dude. Down goes Brown. I'm telling you, stop already. Dude, it's enough.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it. That's that's his shtick. That's his shtick. Good for you. Down goes Brown. You're like literally the one reason that I would consider going The Athletic. Yeah, I don't need to pay for that. But everybody else is so good. I gotta suck that part up. Let's see. Another one we saw. Burge 7F91. I don't think the Sharks will rise above last place in the West next year. That's a bold statement when you play in the same division as Anaheim.
I was gonna say. Okay. Thanks to the vote of confidence. Love you too.
No, I think they've got a point. I mean, Vancouver, huh?
I don't.
Okay, well, hold on. Hear me out.
Arizona.
Vegas, yeah. I think to use hockey jerk vernacular.
I know words. I have the best words.
Buyouts.
To use jerk vernacular, a smart person would say that Vegas is likely to win the Pacific next season, whenever that may be. I would look at Vancouver. I think Vancouver, something that Jerk had said before was that that he didn't think that Vancouver thought that they were going to be as good as quickly as they got. But Vancouver and then Edmonton, those top 3 would not surprise me whatsoever. I would say right now that those 3 are probably the smart person's pick to go at. What's wrong?
No, I'm just laughing that you said the
smart person's pick. There you go. So those are the 3 that I would go with. So now you're talking about the Sharks having a battle for a wild card. LA has proven, and it's been, again, Jesus Christ, can we get sponsored by The Athletic? It's been reported there many times that LA has an amazing pipeline. They could get good real quick. Arizona, I don't know. They could fall off because you got guys gunning for OEL. We don't know that Darcy Kemper is going to be there. There's a lot of moving parts in Arizona.
Well, and speaking of moving, this coming season is Arizona's last year in the Pacific Division.
There you go. So either way, I don't know that the Sharks, if the talent just performs the way they're expected, not even to exceed, but if Couture and Hertl and Karlsson and all these pieces stay healthy, I would imagine that they should do at least 20 points better than they did last season. So
well, and that's why I said I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to make the playoffs, but I will tell you.
I don't think
with
they're going to
confidence
be in the basement.
Right, like I'm not going to sit here and say they'll make the playoffs, but I'm certainly not going to say they're going to be as bad as last year either. I mean, like you said, AJ, all Couture, Hertl, Meier, Erik Karlsson, LeBanc. If all of those guys are just average, the Sharks are 20 points better in the standings.
Yeah. There you go.
And that's the cold, hard truth.
Yeah. Even if we're last in the Pacific, we're still going to be better than Detroit. And that's all I care about.
There you go.
You're right.
Dizzy Logic asking, is Jesper fast?
Jesper.
Huh?
Jesper.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jesper, whatever. Who cares?
Hey, I'm the
Mom
pronunciation
does.
Nazi here.
I know. Okay, you read the question.
Is free agent Jesper Fast, right winger Jesper Fast, from the Rangers a good target for the Sharks' third line? To your question, your query, Dizzy, I say absolutely he is. Little sneak peek, but when AJ talked to Shang, one of the names that came up was Jesper Fast, and maybe he's not going to razzle dazzle you with the offense, but he's a very good two-way defensive player, and I think he's still good for maybe 12 goals. Why don't you take a chance on a guy like that?
Hey, now. How well would he play with Bobby Ryan?
Hey, now.
Hey, now. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's move on. We'll get back to some comments in the chat, but we do need to move on a little bit here. The NHL Awards were announced. Hockey Jerk and I had some different picks on some of these. On the other ones, we nailed it right down the pipe. The ones that we got, I think, were pretty obvious. Hellebuck for the Vezina, yes. Cale Makar winning the Calder. A lot of people were looking at Hughes, but I think Makar was the obvious choice.
I believe I said whoever wins, it's the right choice.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. And then Jerk and I had to take a hard left turn because we got screwed on these next ones. Draisaitl getting both the Lindsay and the Hart. I had Panarin for the Hart. Who did you have?
I had McKinnon. I had McKinnon, but then you convinced me to switch to Panarin.
Yeah, and we were still both wrong. And then Yossi, of all people, winning the Norris. I'm still shocked that John Karlsson from Washington did not pull the Norris on that, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Let me see. Oh, finally, at least in our news and notes around the league for that, can we, and this probably should have been included when we were talking about the Stanley Cup earlier, but how about a huge round of applause and stick taps for the NHL and the cities of Toronto and Edmonton for over 2 months of hockey? None of the over 30,000 COVID tests came back positive. So
Wow.
Bubble hockey is pretty awesome in that regard. You got to give it up for that. Coming up, actually, you know what? Let's do something fun real fast. Since we hit some stuff in the comments, can we talk about how hideous the Golden Knights Vegas jersey is?
Oh, you can't hate on these. I love these.
Oh, yeah.
If Liberace designed a jersey, it would be this one. There is nothing on this planet that if you put what's his name, Wayne Newton in one of these, it would be perfect.
I was going to say they
really?
did.
Yeah, the Golden Knights did a promo with Wayne Newton and Lil Jon wearing them.
That is the most Las Vegas thing. I can't believe that they did that, but I'm so glad that they did because that is 100% everything that this jersey embodies. I think it's absolutely hideous and horrible and tacky, but for the spirit of Las Vegas, it fits perfectly.
Yeah, that's the thing. These jerseys, these are some of the ugliest jerseys I've ever seen. That said, very on brand for the Las Vegas Knights. So I'll give it to them.
The one thing that I can say about this on a positive aspect is it won't be so bad if you spill nacho cheese on your jersey.
Or mustard.
Yeah, like aside from, it'll blend right in. But I look at this and I just go, hey, yikes. Now, I get what they're going for. And it's kind of glittery and, that's, it's very cute. And like Jerk said, it's very Vegas. The one thing that I'm just kind of not a fan of when it comes to this is that it's the same fucking jersey. Like if you just said, and I tweeted this, I'm like, the design team was together on a Friday at just about 10 minutes before happy hour. And somebody just said, what if we just made the graphite parts gold and the gold parts graphite? Does that work for everybody? Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
Drinks.
Yeah.
No, here's what happened.
Okay.
So here's what happened. So it's Friday at 4:56. And the design team, they're in the conference room. They're like, damn it, what the hell are we going to do? And Boss Man comes in and, he says, we'll get it. We'll get it next week. Everybody take a break. I got some hot dogs. And so the head of design is eating a hot dog. And he's like, damn.
He spilled mustard all over his dress.
I got to come up with something. I don't know what to do. And then he took a bite of his hot dog and some mustard spilled on his white shirt. And he was like,
I've got ideas.
He had it. He was there. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Now,
again, very, very on brand, but they're also very dumb.
Well, let me show you a couple other options after we kind of give you a look of what it looks like on a player. And this is obviously the whole model. Thank God they didn't go with a gold helmet because Jesus Christ.
Oh, you mean all of the Nashville Predators?
Exactly. Nobody. Yeah, that was horrible. I do like the fact that when they did this kind of show off for the New Jersey, that it's like, here's what the full uniform set will look like, but here's what the typical fan will look like.
Right.
I thought that was a good idea.
Vegas is really good to their fans, so I agree with you. I liked that.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly it's a good marketing, idea because this is who you're marketing these jerseys to. I think it's kind of interesting that they're going with their white gloves, since those are typically reserved for away games only. So the fact that they'll have those at home, that's interesting. The graphite pants, fine, whatever. But here's kind of what I would have liked to have seen, to be honest with you. Flip-flop the crests.
Ooh, hello.
Right?
All right.
At least, although this almost does give the jersey a little bit of a chainmail feel, if you know what I mean.
They both do. But that appeals to the whole what is that called when you go to the little jousting thing and you get a Diet Coke and a
The
turkey
Renaissance
leg?
Fair?
No.
Excalibur.
Yeah, but what's it called? Something Knights?
Knights of the Round Table? What are you talking about? The
something-
Renaissance Fair? What are you... move on, Rocket.
Anyway, carry on. It's supposed to feel like that.
Yeah.
I wish that
I think if you do this on the front, where you've got the cross sword patch on the front, and you just take that negative space V and put that on the shoulders, I think that could have been cool.
the thing that I've been kind of on for a while, and the all gold jersey, I mean, that was like, you could have set your watch to this one,
Oh yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, you have the history of the Las Vegas Wranglers there.
Yes.
You have the University of Las Vegas Rebels there. How is your alternate jersey not give some cookies to both of those groups, and you do like that sword and ninja star logo on the front with predominantly black and red as like a homage to those two organizations? That would have been sick.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Now,
yes, thank you. Medieval times.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. Medieval times.
Yeah,
Now,
that's what I was saying.
there was another option that I actually thought would have been the best by far. How do you not go with this? I mean, that's just an amazing crest. That is just like the coolest crest I've ever seen.
So many swords.
I mean, yeah, it's all about the sword. So let's do it, people. I like it. I don't know about you. I like it.
Wow.
Yikes.
So anywho, let's move on. Oh yeah. Okay, we talked about again. This is like the news and notes show or part of the show, so I'm just going to kind of jam through these real quick. We talked about this a few shows back. The guy who, I should say, gentleman, or at this point, the unemployed person who used to play Bailey for the LA Kings, he's been shown the door. He was fired after being accused of harassment, and I guess those accusations have been, I don't want to say proven to be true, but either way, dude got a pink slip. So, Bailey, it was nice to know whoever you were in that, and then welcome new Bailey, whoever you might be. We hope you get along with Sharky. 95.7 The Game, local Bay Area sports radio station, has once again rearranged the deck chairs on their Titanic. They have shifted some shows around, shifted some hosts around, but the key for this is they have brought in Kate Scott. Now, you might remember Kate Scott from last season, where she actually, there was Puck Guy helped me out in the chat, but there was a day because Puck Guy and I were there at that, or actually we weren't at the actual game. We were there. We ran into Kate when she was there to like kind of absorb the vibe and take notes and everything like that. But there was like a Women's Day thing where you had like Kate and AJ Malesko and
was it for International Women's Day?
I believe so. And who's the girl that's part of the broadcast crew for the Sharks? The
Kendall Coyne.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it's such a long name. Kendall Coyne, longest name ever. But that broadcast crew was Kate, AJ, and Kendall. And so anyway, Kate, if you enjoyed her call, she does have very smooth voice like butter. But she will be joining the morning show. Does this mean that 95.7 is suddenly going to talk about the Sharks? No. So moving on.
I was going to make a joke about how you only like AJ Malesko because she has the same name as you. but no, AJ Malesko
girl knows her shit.
No, she rocks. She's awesome.
Yeah. When Pierre allows her to speak, yes, she's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm totally derailing your plan here, but if you're interested, I have a overseas Sharks update if you'd like it.
Whip it out.
Okay, so as you all know, due to the coronavirus pandemic, numerous players who are owned by the Sharks organization have been loaned to various teams in that old Europe place.
Fun fact, if you go on Cap Friendly, it literally says COVID loan.
You right.
Yeah.
So here's a little update, something we kind of talked about doing just because we don't know when the hell the season's going to start. And generally speaking, I think it's fun to keep an eye on the Sharks prospects who are not in North America. I think that's a fun thing to do. So here we go, rapid fire. So Igor Spiridonov he's playing in the minor league system for St. Petersburg in the KHL. 2 goals, 4 assists in 7 games. He's had a very hot start for his team. I know Vince G, if you're in the chat, he would be able to speak a lot more to how Spiridonov's been playing, but all indications are he's been playing very well. He was a second round pick in 2019, I want to say. A 4th round pick in 2019. So obviously there. Marcus Sorensen, AJ's favorite player, and everybody else's favorite punching bag, played his first game with Vita Hostin in the Allsvenskan. 1 game, he's got 1 goal and 1 assist. So
stay there. Stay there. That's where the success is. Stay there.
I was gonna say AJ's favorite player. I just think really good for him. Last year was kind of a dumpster year. I think it's good for him to get confident. So I certainly am very pumped about that.
And if you enjoy Marcus Sorensen, have I got a jersey for you?
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so Tim Heed, he's played 2 games with Lugano in the Swiss League. Elite Prospect says he has no goals, though I'm pretty sure he scored 1. It may have been an exhibition game. Jonathan Dahlin played 1 game in the Allsvenskan with Timora. Nothing yet, but that's fine. It's early. Frederick Hendemark playing with Malmö in the Swedish Hockey League, 1 assist in 3 games. Again, it's still early, but something to keep an eye on. And then my favorite goalie of the future had Alexei Melnichuk had his first game with Torpedo in the KHL. Hell of a name, by the way.
Yeah.
And granted, one
better than
one
Wild.
Game,
It's like my cousin.
yeah. So, and again, 1 game, So do with it what you'd like, but hell of a first game, 1.87 goals against, 950 save percentage. Chiefs off to a pretty good start. Again, it's one game, but a lot of people are saying that Melnichuk might not be ready for the NHL, but if Homie can have really good numbers in the KHL, that certainly puts him in the conversation, And then just lastly, to wrap it around or reach it around, depending on your, vernacular, Josef Koronash, he's in the Czech League, started his first game, 900 save percentage, 218 goals against, most likely, maybe a game went to overtime or something. So again, it's too early to tell, but those are just kind of the standouts a little bit. I think going back to what I said earlier, just with Marcus Sorensen, like I said, last year was such a bad year for him compared to 2 years ago. Obviously, you want him to get good, feel confident. If he can torch the Allsvenskan, he can come back. Maybe, we're talking about who plays on the second line. Maybe it's him if he's feeling good.
We got their numbers.
All right. Let's talk about what is happening coming up here. Oh, my Lord. Free agent frenzy. The NHL draft is upon us. The Rangers have bought out King Henrik. Long live Lundqvist. Probably not going to be with the Sharks. Does it make sense for him to be in Vegas if they're able to move Fleury? Probably.
Yes.
Michael Grabner on waivers for the purposes of a buyout. Bobby Ryan bought out. Okay. There's so many things going on right now. Let's just look at the calendar. Right now it is October 4th. This was the deadline for first club elected salary arbitrations. There have been none because there never are. October 6th, boom, NHL Draft, baby, round 1. If you're a Sharks fan, you can probably wait until the last 5 minutes. Saying. October 7th, the day after rounds 2 through 7. Also, 5 o'clock Eastern to Pacific on the 7th is the deadline for clubs to tender their QOs. For those of you who don't know, qualifying offers to their restricted free agents. This means you, Kevin LeBanc. Just saying. And then the buyout period ends on the 8th. Free agency begins on the 9th. That is the day that right now you want to put in for your PTO if you're a hockey fan, so you can follow the frenzy. Is there anybody that you're sitting here going, oh my God, the Sharks need to look at this guy, or there's this guy? So far, you want the Sharks to take a flyer on Bobby Ryan if there's a possibility, right? Like, didn't you say, Jerk, that like they can't like straight up be like, hey, Bobby, how you doing? How's it going? Let's make this public and blah, blah, blah. But they can put it in his ear like, hey, on this date, give us a call.
Well, and I believe since he was bought up by Ottawa, so since he's technically an unrestricted free agent right here, right now, I believe the Sharks can actually talk shop with him. They just can't sign anything until July 1st. And obviously that means the other 29 teams who aren't San Jose or Ottawa can also talk shop with him. You just can't put pen to paper until October 9th. So, I think it would be a very good low risk, high reward kind of guy to take on. He's a right-handed right winger, which Kevin Lacey will tell you the Sharks have needed that their entire history. So it checks that box right there. But also, he's obviously had some personal demons he's worked through. And for, based on the fact
everybody
that
loves
now,
a project.
Well, and based on the fact that he's now perfectly healthy, he might be a guy who can bounce back to being a 20-goal, 15-assist guy in the right spot. Who knows? And everybody's saying, well, what about the salary cap? Well, you're in luck because, Bobby Ryan, he's getting a crisp $1.83 million a season for the next 4 years from Ottawa.
I know.
So,
didn't Chief
he's probably going to
didn't Chief throw up like a hat trick on his return day?
Yeah, his first game back from the substance abuse program, he put up a hat trick. And so, he's getting money from Ottawa. Like, he could retire and he'll be getting a paycheck. He'll be getting, almost $7 million over the next 4 years if he retires right now. If he signs anywhere else, that's just more money. He's going to take a low contract. I'm thinking you look at what Corey Perry, you look at what Kevin Shattenkirk signed for last year, 1 year, somewhere between $1.5 and $1.75 million. You can fit that under the cap. You maybe get 20 goals out of him. To me, I'm telling you this, and again, I'm not an NHL GM, but
Really?
Doug Wilson's not doing his job if he doesn't at least call Bobby Ryan's agent.
Oh, dude, you kick those tires all day.
Dude, you punch those tires. You put on a steel toe boot and you kick the crap out of it.
Let's take it to the chat.
Tires.
Oh, let's take it to the chat for a hot second. Skylar, smartass. I thought AJ's favorite player was Martin Bodker, the merger of Martin Havlat and Michael Bodker. Oh, Skylar, you son of a bitch. Oh, our financial beneficiary this evening, Christopher, saying TuneIn Radio has dropped all major league sports, which sucks after charging $100 a year. Yeah, it does. How am I going to listen to Sharks hockey? Must find my old school radio. Or, Christopher, you slide into my DMs and I will send you a pirate flag. Just let you know.
You
Free
know.
of charge.
Yeah. But Jerry's saying, hey, assuming there are no other charges this coming year, you can use the KFox app or the Sharks app for the radio feed. Yes, that in fact should be the case. Again, Christopher, slide into my DMs if you would like to watch it, and if you would like to watch the Sportsnet feed, which is eons better than anything NBC produces. Okay, so we're right at almost not a tight 45, but right around 60. So a couple quick things here. And I have to just throw this out there. I guess this will kind of fit as my final thought. Just to let you know, if you respond to someone's comment, whether it's on, the comment section on The Athletic or on a random thought somebody puts on Twitter, if you respond to their comment like a jerk off and they don't respond back to you, it's not that they don't have a retort or that you owned them. 99.999% of the time, it's because the original person who commented, they don't care enough about you or what you said to take 30 seconds out of their life to acknowledge your existence and school you. So just wanted to let you know, because being a contrarian for contrary's sake just means you're a miserable troll and you've never owned anyone. Just deal with, you probably never slept with anyone either. But anyway, some people, I'm telling you, and Alden already sneaking into my DMs asking for the pirate flag. I got you, homie. I got you. Letting you know. So recently, and I still think Jerk probably got screwed on this because he had third pick every time. We recently did a fun kind of off-season video, now that it is off-season, where we drafted the best and worst alternate jerseys from every NHL team. It was a lot of fun. There was a couple that ended up on Jerk's best that was on my worst, or vice versa. Hello, Pittsburgh. Go check that out.
My favorite was the amount of times where you guys were like, I don't know what I was smoking when I picked this.
You're right, man. You're right.
I'm just love. I just love how
I got to like my eighth pick, and I was just like, now what?
What?
Yeah, I just loved how very early on, Puck Guy is like, oh, that Canucks jersey from the 90s. I love that one. And then I'm just like, let's get a little later in the show, and that one might come back.
So check that out. It's, if you're into jerseys and the history of them and just some of the fun, the design elements, you might enjoy that. It was fun. Recently talked to Dan Boyle a couple weeks ago, checked in with him on what he's doing. Boy, you talk about a guy that I would love to see the Sharks have in a capacity for coaching the defense, or at least a certain segment of the defense. Hello, Tim Heed. But anyway, yes, I would love that. We recently spoke with Sonia Tydinko from NBC Sports Bay Area. Rob Zettler. Hello, NHL All-Star MVP John Scott. Boom. They're all available on the Teal Town YouTube. So hit that subscribe button while you're here. We also spoke with Shang Peng from SanJoseHockeyNow.com earlier today. That will be a separate video and podcast that will go up probably tomorrow morning. In that one, God, Jerk, what did we get into? That was a hell of a tight 25, my brother.
Yeah, it was mainly talking about the Devin Dubnyk and Ryan Donato situation.
But there were some other things happening there because, again, Doug Wilson did a little bit of a talk this week. We'll see. Again, Dougie has 31, 34, and 56. Those are his top 3 picks coming into the NHL draft. It will remain to be seen if he holds on to any of those or if they end up getting moved. Doug has said a bajillion times that he looks at picks as currency. If that little chunk of change gets you somebody you need or want, there you go. So as we put our final thoughts together here, I will do a last call for the comments section. So, Rocket, your final thoughts and where the people can find you on the social media.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rocket Backhander. You can find me hanging out over on Twitter talking about, hockey, makeup, life in Eastern Washington, just random weird stuff that sort of associates with me and my dry Saharan personality. And also check out my photographs over on Instagram. Mainly these days, it's me making strange faces and kittens. Yep, kittens. So if you like kittens and hockey and ladies making strange faces, that's my Instagram. Check it out. Rocket Backhander, one word. Hanging out on Twitter. That's R Backhander76, capital R, capital B, little Backhander 76. And if you find me anywhere else, please report me because it's fake. AJ?
Oh, Christopher saying the jersey draft was epic. That is awesome. Glad you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun with that. And I still think my number 1 pick on both of those holds up. Jerkman, CJ Bautista Mendoza would like to know what prospects or minors have the best chance of making the lineup. The way that the lineup shakes out now, I'm going to say all of them.
Well, yeah, no, that I think, I don't know. I mean, at this point, the top, I would say the top 5 or 6 forwards are pretty much set in stone. And when I say top 6, I don't mean the top 6. I just mean the 6 best forwards are pretty much set in stone. From that point on, I mean, it's kind of jump ball, Could we see Stefan Nason return? That's certainly possible. Maybe Suomela or Bergman or Yurtaikin or True or Chekhovich or Chemlevsky or Blickfeld. See what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys. As
I know words. I have the best words.
Go ahead.
As Pat likes to say in the super secret Discord server that's not an actual secret, pick a guy from the Guy Factory. So, I think it could, it could go one of 2 ways. Either it's just going to be in flux like it was last year where there's just, every night it's somebody new, or, maybe somebody steps up and maybe they force Doug Wilson and Bob Boughner to keep them in the lineup, Rizzo saying Noah Gregor. I love Noah Gregor. I certainly would be okay with that. And, maybe it's, you have guys, Jesper Fast was mentioned earlier, Bobby Ryan Donato. I mean, there's so many possibilities.
Who was the one guy who just had like the best name ever because it was so many goddamn letters and he wore 90. It was was it Ivan Yuzhenkov?
Artem Ivan Yuzhenkov.
Yeah, Ivan Yuzhenkov. God damn. I'm not even lying. You look right up there, I want to say. I'm pretty sure that's his signature on that puck. And what's funny, for the longest name, he's got the tiniest signature. It's literally like I, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh, with a name that long.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
And I guess for the chat, we will give Skylar the last word, which is, of course, it's too bad that VGK jersey came out after your draft because it probably would have been in the top 10. Absolutely. Would have been my second go-to on the worst. But yes. Anyway. Where can they find you on social?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at @hockey_jerk. And as Rocket said, if you find me anywhere else, it's not me. So flag and report it.
Y'all wanted a twist? It's me. Hello.
We've got exciting times ahead. The draft and the free agency, it's going to be, I mean, they're always exciting. Then you factor in the fact that a lot of teams are looking to cut payroll, move some bodies around. I mean, this may be the most active NHL draft in the last 3 years.
You're right.
So we'll see.
Okay. Well, I'm AJ_strong on the social media. For my final thoughts, I'd probably just say be safe, stay healthy, wear a mask, and never buy merchandise made by fanatics.
That's the real pandemic.
Yikes. So the next show won't be by us. It will be Puck Guy and a cavalcade of stars here for your enjoyment, probably including one hockey jerk, one Kevin Lacey, Erik Landy, Ian Reed, and a host of other smatterings of people and weird things, all presenting NHL draft coverage, free agent frenzy, all that stuff. If the Sharks do, in fact, make a splash in any way, shape, or form, we're probably going to be live within minutes of that happening. If not, we'll be live later that same day where we're actually able to produce something of a show. But do us a favor, if you're new here, hey, leave your comments. Put some remarks in the comments section, please. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We go live after every single Sharks game, whenever that may be. So with that, probably a good time to say thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Christopher Hug, you the real MVP.
God bless.
I think that's, yeah. I think we can look at that donation and say,
it has changed my life.
Absolutely. And again, we spoke with Sheng Peng from San Jose Hockey Now earlier today. That will be coming up within the on the YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. So look for that. Other than that, I think it's probably time to get out of here. So, again, hello. I'm AJ Strong. This is Rocket Backhander. And this is Hockey Jerk. So, thanks for watching. We will see you all next time.